A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away from the conglomerate's then newly established galactic central point, the Shin Kalaharan were living peacefully as one with nature until the bot hive mind known as the Natsia arrived on their homeworld and began to mine its valuable minerals and mechaform its surface. The Shin Kalaharan had developed their technology in union with their planet. In order to escape the Natsia, grew seed ships and named them after their mother goddess, Zhao Shan Zetsu, and fled their homeworld seeking new planets to inhabit, setting up strict protocols so to never be invasive to a planet's already existing species, and to find worlds as far away from inhabited space as possible. Manned by Shin Kalaharan wardens, these seed ships were dispersed throughout the galaxy, and one such ship, after drifting in space for decades with the majority of its crew safely in stasis, was suddenly rocked by an experimental conglomerate scout ship testing out the then very new warp drive technology, and suddenly appeared partially inside their ship, sending them both plummeting to a nearby desert planet's surface. Now far off course and low on Kesho crystal energy that powers their ship, the Wardens attempted to make repairs to return to their journey. Before they could complete their task, more conglomerate ships arrived to inspect the wreckage, found them and their strange craft, and captured them by force and took their vehicle to study them both in a warehouse-like facility they immediately built to hold them, after properly securing property rights from the planet's indigenous people, of course. Then conglomerate scientists tortured and killed most of the Wardens trying to unlock their secrets, dissected most of their animal companions for bizarre experiments, and ravaged the seed ship for its strange technology. After a few major successes, the warehouse and adjacent factory were abandoned after it was decided the cost of pursuing the project any further outweighed its benefits, but only after learning the secrets of Kesho crystal conversion, terraforming, and developing a silicon-like based lifeform called Gargoylians to serve as brainwashed protectors of conglomerate property. Many of the earlier models of Gargoylians that were deemed less reliable or too quirky were left behind to guard the very factory they were created in. One such creature, Argyle Gargyle, a Gargoylian with custom Argyle plates and an affinity for fashion, took advantage of his long leash and lack of conglomerate oversight to wander outside of the factory into the dusty red sandstorms of the planet Addis, hunting the legendary sand dragons his creator had told him stories of, in hopes of creating a marvelous item of clothing from its scales. And now, our legendary tale of mythical space adventure begins.
Trying to find something delightful to drape over myself, like...
Would you like to roll a survival check or a knowledge nature or something to try to find these sand dragons? Or just a perception to look for them? 9?
Yes.
Oh, it's too much red sand everywhere. Can't find tracks, can barely make out animals out here. You've had a hard time hunting. Every now and then, with what you would in conglomerate common call sand sharks, sometimes attack, and you've been surviving off of those. But they have no hair, and their skin's just kind of like human skin, so it doesn't make the best clothes. Kind of gotten rid of that, just enjoyed the meat. They do have a lot of teeth, so if you want to have your hands full of teeth for clothing or necklaces later, you can go ahead and have that in your pack from the meals you've had previously.
Sure. I have 13 teeth.
Right now, with that survival check, unable to find any tracks of anything.
I guess I keep searching. 16.
You notice you've wandered pretty far from the warehouse now, farthest you've ever been. You assumed at some point in time, someone would notice you were gone, but as you know, all the scientists have left the facility. There's some killbots and stuff, but since you are sort of conglomerate property, it just seems like you're guarding the premises. You haven't left the premises until right now you see in front of you pylons in the sand. You had to get real close before you saw them, so you're like just about to cross the path. You're like within 15 feet of them before you see them because the red sand is so thick. But they are tall white pylons sticking up through this red sand. So now that you're this close, you can make them out.
I investigate them, see if I can somehow turn them into clothing.
All right. You can get closer to them. Roll a perception check.
8.
They do not seem like they could be made out of clothing. They are metallic. Maybe you think you could, but you don't have any tools to form them into clothing. And they seem to be making a strange humming vibration sound. You can touch them, and you have no problem touching them. It just hums and vibrates as you touch it. You do make out, even with an 8, it has a UPC code on it. UPC meaning Universal Property Conglomerate. Same people that ran the warehouse that made you.
Can I tell what the code means? I have knowledge local. 18.
Even without going from pylon to pylon, this seems to just be the code for these pylons. It's just like a marker that says conglomerate property and like has the number. If you want to reorder a pylon, this is the order number basically.
Can I follow the pylons to see if they lead anywhere?
Well, I mean, just perception check to do that, or survival again.
19.
They are the easiest thing to make out in the landscape. So you do that, and it's very hard to make out anything, except maybe some of the flashing warning lights at the factory in the distance, where where you came from. It's the only landmark you can make out, and it seems like you're walking in a circle around it, as if these pylons were a perimeter around the facility you came from. You're on the inside of the perimeter.
Then
Now,
I guess I pick a random direction and hope that there's clothing in that direction.
alright, so you're trying to walk away from the facility or towards it?
Away from the facility.
So you cross the line of the pylons out towards the desert. As you do, a warning tone is sounded. No harm comes to you at all. Just a warning tone as you cross the line. You hear it, it's loud. It's louder than the howling wind, but it's a low, rumbling horn type noise when you cross the pylon.
Well, I ignore it. Keep walking.
Alright, roll me survival or perception or nature to find something to make clothes out of.
20.
A reptilian monster with 8 legs, bony spurs in its back, and eyes that are glowing green. Scales are yellow, sort of sticks out amongst the red sand. Creature about your size, though.
That sounds like a sand dragon to me.
Let's roll for initiative. Got a 16.
17.
Oh, and you got him then, just barely. You catch sight of each other, but you get first shot.
I roll a 15.
That's a hit. High-powered laser musket.
I got a 6 plus 4, so 10.
It charges at you and tries to bite you. I only got a 22.
I believe that beats my AC.
It's gonna be 6 damage.
So I'm very injured. Is it still sandstorming?
It is still sandstorming, yes.
Well, darn. I guess I'm gonna shoot it again. 2.
It's a miss, but it's a loud noise. Roll an intimidation check.
18.
Creature, little injured, storms off, whatever. It bit you. I guess it didn't like it, the taste. Although, since you are a rock-like creature, probably not the tastiest thing to bite into. You bleed gray. You can follow after it.
Definitely gonna follow after it.
Perception check or survival to track it.
14.
Hard to see in the dust. If you fire for it now, it's going to have a concealment because of the sandstorm. If you try to get closer to it, that might increase your chances.
I'm gonna try and get closer to it.
Still hard to see, but you can try to fire on it. I'll give you a 60% chance from where you move to.
I got 50.
So you're good. So now you can roll your attack, and if your attack is successful, it will hit. You shot in the right direction.
I rolled a 1.
So that means your gun's gonna jam, and you have no one around to shoot you, so it's just gonna backfire on yourself. So you can quick clear it with a grit point. It's a standard action though, so it means you can't fire for this turn after when you do the quick clear. So it'll take away your next turn.
Okay.
So this turn you can't shoot, but you can continue to pursue it.
Alright, then that is what I will do.
Also, I need you to roll that damage on yourself from the backfire that you rolled the natural 1.
Oh, lovely. I'm at 1 hit point.
So not unconscious, but very near.
Yes.
Got the old Bugs Bunny char in the face. You still want to pursue this this weakened
I
condition.
have very, very single-minded pursuit of articles of clothing, and this is the most interesting
It's bright yellow.
creature. Got a shiny hide, so I'm gonna go after it still.
And it's the first thing you've seen that's large enough. It's running towards the pylons.
I'm gonna shoot it again. I got a 15.
I believe versus touch, they see that it's still a hit.
14 damage.
Alright, so you hit it one more time. It flees in between 2 pylons. When it does, that low horn noise happens again. And in front of your eyes, this creature is obliterated. Pops like a balloon, blood goes everywhere. Its yellow scales go everywhere. Now it's torn to bits, torn to shreds. There's no way you can make clothing out of it now. It's like balloon skin all over the ground.
I shriek in utter despair, falling on my knees.
And here you are again, back at the pylons.
I guess I'm gonna go home.
Walk back towards the factory, the warehouse. You haven't been there in a while, like I said, you've been wandering around for a long time. But you walk back, everything seems normal. The killbots are in their standby position, pretty quiet. All the doors are locked and closed. It's dark. So when you walk around, some of the motion sensor lights will come on, but they're very low, like LED lights, so it's not much light, very dim light as you walk around. But at least there's no sandstorm inside, so once you close the door behind you, you're safe from the sand. You even know where there's a place you can wash off. I mean, you've lived here for a while. You go clean yourself.
Exactly what I'm gonna do. Sure that my Argyle can be seen.
There's only one place you know that you can get water here anymore now that the place has been abandoned. There's no more humanoids besides yourselves, the Gargoylians here. You know that the only place to get a drink is there's one room in this facility where there are a lot of plants grow for some reason, and it rains in there sometimes, and there's like water collection buckets that some other Gargoylians have stuck in there to have drinks. So you can go in there and sneak some water if you like.
I definitely want to do that.
You go. You have conglomerate access, so you just wave your hand, the door opens for you. You're like a guard, basically, here. So you have access to all the rooms. You walk in, all the same stuff here, plants, big giant log-looking thing, creatures in tubes, and your buckets of water.
Alright, I'm going to wash off specifically the Argyle plates. I don't care about the rest of it, but I have to show the Argyle.
Do you want to rest there and recover?
Yes.
Alright, you rest there and recover. Meanwhile, out in space, a Dulon trade ship is arriving on Addis with some goods for one of their outposts there. It's in one of the conglomerate cities there, so of course the price is a little higher. There's some paper gift to go through. There's all kind of taxes and tariffs. Not really your problem. You're not a Dulon, but you are one of the Dulon's most prized possessions, the K9000 unit. There's a android dog programmed for various different functions. You are a bounty hunter unit named Vostra 96 on this ship with 2 other K9000 units. You know them, of course. You know lots of other K9000 units, but you know these 2 that you're on the ship with right now. There's Carla 12 and Laylar 44. One of them is a bounty hunter like yourself, and the other one is a defense, sort of personal escort droid dog. Belongs to the ship owner. And the other 2 of you are here just like as passengers. You sort of like get free passage on the ship because your bounty is on this planet. The Dulons sort of ferry K9000s around for each other for stuff like this. So you sort of get a free ride to your bounty. And the ship arrives, get clearance to dock in one of the cities here on Addis, the Atesian cities, which on this desert planet are in the southern hemisphere, less stormy, less windy. Still a hot, dry desert, lots of pollution that sort of still covers everything, so it's still not easy to see. Your ship arrives and is allowed to dock in the city. A lot of ships here dock outside the city and have goods brought in. It's cheaper and you can get away with a little bit more that way, but the Dulon have a good relationship with the conglomerate, so this ship is allowed to dock, has an ID code and everything. The Dulon captain is identified, so they're able to dock safely here, and you're on board, and they go to sort of like loading zone to unload stuff, but that's not your problem. The Dulon and his crew, which are a bunch of other Dulon, sort of like green, scaly humanoids with bones coming out of their foreheads or necks. They have various facial bones that grow sort of differently in different Dulons. Rough and tumble race that loves to trade, loves to barter, loves to argue. For some reason, they have an affinity for these K9000 units, probably because you guys value something they value, gloms. As an android, you don't need to eat, but your diet consists of gloms. If your credit, your GP, your glom units ever get down to 0, you're starving for gloms. So you might act differently. You might act angrier. You might start executing people on your kill list. You might be able to not kill people on your kill list. You might be able to hold off. So how well fed are you right now, K9000?
I'm on the border of hangry.
It's a good thing you're on a bounty hunt, right? Because that means maybe some money might be coming to you soon.
I like them gloms.
Tasty gloms. Like most of the people have to carry Conglomo cards, which are very inconvenient. You might lose it, might get stolen. K9000 units have those built in. The Bloka have an arrangement with the Conglomerate. Your Conglomo card is built into your unit, so all you have to do is wave your hand, and you can spend credits that easily. So yours are internally stored. No one can steal your Glom card unless they steal your paw. So you're free to wander about as you like. The other bounty hunter K9000 unit, Carla 12, wanders off one direction. You're free to follow or wander off as you like. You kind of are able to do as you wish. You're free agents, as it were.
I'm just gonna stick with Carla for now, just to feel things out, you know?
Yeah, and you guys wander around. There's lots of different races here, mostly humanoid, and because of the conglomerate's influence, a lot of actual humans. You don't see many of the local race, not that you know much about them, but you've been briefed before you've come here. Of course, you're given the details about who you're looking for, what the locals are like, and stuff like that. So you know that the locals on Addis are called the Berng, bug-like race, roachy sort of, beetly. They have very broad, hunched shells that go over their back and very small heads, very big, strong legs, 4 arms, 2 big arms, 2 small arms. Strange race, but they're not very large in number anymore, and they're in more of the upper part of the city. The docks that your ship is landed at, sort of in the middle of the city. The cities are sort of a trapezoid shape with domes on top, and you're sort of in the middle of the trapezoid where a lot of the ship traffic is. And Carla is going to head straight to an elevator. You want to follow her into it? Yeah, you guys hop in the elevator. He sits. She tells the attendant in the elevator which button to press. You guys go all the way down to the bottom floor where these shops are. You're let out of the elevator. This is way more crowded in the area to the left. There's tons of people doing like shopping. It's just a bunch of different conglomerate shops. Anything you need, rope, weapons, like any of the basic weapons you want. So this is all anything that you can get on the basic equipment page and basic weapons page is available here for sale in Conglomerate Market. Everything's for sale. Conglomerate owns it all. There's tons and tons of shops selling all sorts of food items, clothes items, weapons, assorted goods. You guys sort of just head through the shops, wandering through the crowd. You're dog shaped, so it's pretty easy to slink through the crowd and not bother anyone. It's one of the great things about K9000s is even though you guys are mostly bounty hunters, assassins, and defense units, because you look like dogs, everyone usually assumes you're friendly. Until you're chasing after them, that is.
I am unfortunately a rather large dog.
Some of the assassin units are smaller dogs, but most of the defense units and bounty hunter units are larger dogs. Because it's more intimidating. They know that's part of the factor. Most people want to buy those kinds. Those are the ones that sell the most. And the Dulon do purchase a lot. You're out wandering around now through this market, through the shops, towards an exit to the exterior, to the desert. Carla looks at you and asks, what are you hunting for?
A ship. I'm looking for a ship.
Lucky.
Pretty, like the night sky.
Sounds big and easy to find. I have to find some sort of teal panda.
That sounds fun. You can eat it.
Kill or capture.
Which gets you more snacks.
Same snacks either way, as long as I come back with the body. You want to go search the desert together, I guess?
Yeah, let's go to the desert.
Alright, if you see mine, holler. If I see yours, I'll holler.
Bark, bark.
Bark, bark. All right, you guys head out into the desert. You walk for a while, but you see in the distance some ruins, much smaller than the Etesian city, the conglomerate-built trapezoid city you just left. Ruins of a old city built of like sand and bricks. Still tall towers, but not as big as this new huge structure that's built here now. Obviously, the ruins of the Burn when they first built their cities here, before conglomerate came along and improved their lives, as you can see by the majesty of this new city. So these old ruins look like they'd be abandoned, but there's actually, you can see from the distance, large crowd gathered there. Now, sometimes people live in these ruins. That's not in your briefing, you were told of that, but the size of this crowd seems larger than what you expected from your briefing. You said from your briefing you heard that just small numbers of people live there, people that just like don't have a lot of work, that have to like unload trade ships and try to earn enough money to stay at temporary housing in the city. Sometimes people like squat there when they can't afford to live anywhere else. So you're surprised to see that large number of people there as you approach. So something's going on.
Hey, Carla. What do you think's up over here, friend?
She's confused also. She assumed that the shops were crowded, and that's normal. She was also not expecting to be this crowded out here. Maybe harder to find your green ship and my teal panda than I thought.
Let's go check it out.
Alright, you guys go scouting the ruins, looking for these two things. Roll me a perception check, and I'll roll one for Carlo. No sign of it yet for Carlo, and you had a 17. You do see a cluster of ships at the far end of the ruins. It seems like there's a bunch of raiding ships and stuff that are parked in one area where there's a more clearing, not as close to all these buildings and stuff. I mean, a lot of people are kind of gathered here on foot and on sort of the native vehicles, which look sort of like ATVs or dune buggies, so like big wheels, like loose chassis so they can get over these red dunes and stuff. So some people like riding those, picking up dust around and sort of like hooting and hollering, and there's a group of people standing around and making noise and cheering, chanting about something in their various tongues. You guys don't pick up anything of what's really going on yet, but you can head that direction or head towards the ships.
I want to head towards the ship.
You try to head to the far end of the ruins towards the ships. Carla wants to head towards the people because she thinks trying to blend in amongst that big crowd of people. This is where you guys split off. Go your separate ways. You head towards the cluster of ships in the distance. Meanwhile, Zadok Arkham Alzared, aka Grandpa, an Outer One human hybrid void zealot, a worshipper of Hig and all the old ones, and child of the warp, out enjoying a space cruise, getting a little too religious on board. He's trying to jump overboard, is taken by security, locked up. It's deemed that even though you're a big spender, your account's almost empty at this point. How many gloms you got left there, Grandpa?
I think about 40.
So you don't have much of a tab left at the bar. So they're going to put the rest of your credits back on your conglomerate card and send you on a shuttle to a nearby planet to get you off the ship because you've been deemed a risk. A risk to the cruise because you keep, like I said, keep trying to jump overboard and you're opening hatches and stuff. All the other passengers in danger with your erratic behavior. So you're escorted on a security shuttle, sort of restrained. Your wrists are latched in. You're in a chair in the ship. There are a bunch of other chairs, but they are all empty because no one else is being kicked off the ship but you. One guard in the ship with you, and he has a guard droid with him, so two guards technically, and a pilot. It's not a very big ship, not super capable of much except going from this ship which is passing by this planet anyway, on its way to a sort of resort mall planet near a warp gate, probably a couple months away from here. So you had a couple more months left on this journey before you got to the next destination. But they're kicking you off anyway. This is the nearest conglomerate planet they can send you to. So they stick you on the security shuttle, boot you. It flies down without a hitch to the planet. You too are flown into the Etesian city, one of many, one of 16 cities in the south, in one of these docks, parking basically, a parking garage. There's a special slot for these security shuttles though. So you are deposited in sort of a security area where you are unchained, let out, and you have to go through screening. You're questioned by the officials, local officials and stuff. They just to get your conglomerate ID, check it against who you are, ask you questions. That all checks out though. You are who you say you are. Some of them have even heard of you. You used to be pretty famous. You were once a nobleman, an athlete, known sort of around the universe for some reason, so someone's heard of you. You look way different than you did, back in your heyday though. Thicker and fishier looking. Your skin's gotten a little grayer and your eyes have gotten darker, but you are a hybrid, so you've gotten weirder looking as you've aged, and you're pretty old now. How old are you now, Grandpa?
39 in 4 months.
That's pretty old for you, for your race. Just going about your life. Ready to end it all. You think you're near the end of your life anyway. You've been alive for a long time. You've been slowly changing and deforming. You're pretty sure you're about to die. And now you're being forced onto another planet you don't want to be on. Shoved out amongst the dregs. You're in a very busy, loading area, once you've been kicked out of this security zone. So you're in a place where there's a bunch of other small vehicles going by just with lots of packages and the people making you move out of the way. You're kind of being directed towards elevators to get out of here, basically.
Well, I just want to be, generally ornery around people. Hey, get out of my space! Get
get out of my space, but I also want to be like, at some point I'm probably going to yell about, my God, do some yig yelling. I guess I'll probably just wander around and I'll probably accuse those guys of taking some of my gloves that were on my car. I'll be like, I had more gloves on this.
So yeah, you accuse people of taking your gloms, you yell some obscenities, you yell about your god, make your way to the elevator. In the elevator, there's an attendant droid ready to push a button for you. Pretty useless droid. Doesn't seem to do anything except push elevator buttons, but it's there to attend to your every need for this one particular job. Where would you like to go? Up or down?
Up.
Please swipe your conglomerate ID card, because if you do, it'll say access denied.
I swipe again.
Access denied again.
Yeah. Try the other direction.
Oh, you swipe it backwards. Yeah, access still denied.
I'm gonna blow on the slot.
Roll me disabled device is what I need.
One. I got an 18.
The elevator's gonna reopen the door to the same level.
There you go. Nailed it. I'm gonna talk to the robot and ask for the manager.
Does not compute.
Tap on it. Like, manager, please.
He opens a box and pulls out a communication device on a cord that's attached to the elevator and hands it to you. How may I help you?
I was trying to go up, but I think your robot may be defective.
Did you scan your conglomerate ID card?
Yeah, I did it. I think your slider is scooped up.
What's your conglomerate ID? What's your name, sir? I'll look it up.
Zadok Arkham Alzared. I'm very important in these parts.
Alright, she types it in. I see what happened. Seems you blew through a lot of your money. You don't have clearance anymore. I'm afraid you have to go downstairs. Maybe try the ruins?
I feel like you're not part right. Can you check again?
I'll check again. How? Can you just tell me how it's spelled? Maybe I spelled it wrong.
Alzared.
Okay.
You might have done it backwards with this. It's Hazred, but you might have gotten it more.
This is Zadok Arkham Alhazrad.
Yes, Junior.
Junior. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll type that in. Wait 1 second. I don't see a junior listed.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Alright, I'll go down.
Alright, sorry for the inconvenience, sir. Maybe get a job, earn a few gloms. You can be welcome back up here.
And what is your name, again? My documents?
My name's Lavinia.
My mortal enemy? Check.
You do some yig curses, hang up the phone, are welcome to go down. How many floors you like? You can go down to temporary housing or you can go down to the shops.
I don't have any money. I'll just go to the housing.
That's sort of like the level above the shops, and it's literally nothing but like temporary room and board. One giant inn. Would you like to rent a room there? I mean, it's not in outer space, so this is going to bum you out being there.
Can I go to the shops and see if maybe there's shuttles going around or like something where I could like hop on board?
There's shops sell everything. Knives, rope, clothes, anything you want, food. There are some tourist agencies, kind of like the one you sign up for your cruise at. You can sign up for cruises, for various other tours, be part of other groups to get on, those kind of things. That's out there. But all those things seem to cost more money than you currently have.
That's something to aspire to.
You do know whenever you came in on your shuttle, you saw through the view screen and through the glass, the windshield of the shuttle, that there was a collection of ships out in the desert near some of the ruins. So if you're looking for a ship, maybe head out to the ruins and find a ship that might take you on board for some work or for a couple of gloms.
I think
Get
I'd
off
be
of this rock.
drawn to a ship just for the idea of being able to sneak on.
Yeah, man, maybe you can just say a stowaway. Maybe it's like, wait till someone opens the door and slip in behind them.
I'm not made out of gloms.
Whatever it takes to get on a ship, you'll do it. So if you want to leave the shops area once you find out you can't afford to get on and head towards the ruins, you walk through the desert, it's hot, you can see the ruins in the distance. Like I said, not as big as the current city. The size of a city, but it looks pretty desolate except for the fact there's a large crowd gathered there now. It looks like this many people couldn't live here, and this number of ships doesn't look like it would normally park here. It looks like sometimes some trade ships would come through and people would load things, but usually they'd be closer to the Artesian city than it would be to these ruins. You head towards the group of ships. Before you reach the ruins, there is a place where some container ships are being unloaded, and workers are carrying stuff into the city. They're getting paid menial, small amounts of gloms to help carry these very heavy packages a long distance into the city. Just so these guys don't have to pay the money to dock. Just carry them straight to their shops on the bottom ground floor through a different loading area. Or as you're heading toward these large container ships, they're very, very large. Sort of square, automated, travel very short distances, like planet to planet. They usually just carry food, supplies. They come from one planet to another. In one of them is a great commotion. And the reason there's a great commotion in this one particular container is because about a month ago, Nikali Zolotl, from the planet Omiokan, a large Zat-Latlan worshipper of the Huitzilopochtli, the all-consuming sun, war, blood, and sacrifice, a large creature. In human terms, what looked like a large blue jaguar humanoid. Larger than a human. Big, very muscular, but blue fur all over, green eyes, big teeth, big burly guy.
I am wearing green armor, So it is like helmet like off right now though.
So what happened was back on your home planet, the conglomerate has taken over. You've been not forced to work, but you have a very menial job like putting stuff on crates, like deforesting your own continent, just farming. Now you're herding what used to be wild animals and farming things that used to be wild fruit. And it's sort of like demeaning to you. You think they've changed your culture. And some of your so-called friends have convinced you to get on this container that's supposed to be hauling supplies, food, to a nearby planet, make your escape, become one, the Sitlali Ocelotl, which is a warrior in your culture. So they're encouraging you to leave the planet, stop bothering them about how much you hate working in this fields and stuff. Just get on the ship, break free, and then come back and fight the conglomerate. So this is your way off of that planet and to start your own sort of vengeance mission. You've been bestowed all the things you need to be a warrior, but you're hiding this big crate. You've even devoured most of the supplies on the trip here. The canned meat made from the large herd animals on your planet, fruit, nothing else really important in there. But now you've arrived at this planet. Of course, there's a big commotion because you're a big, scary blue guy, and they were expecting to unload crates of food, and here you are, something that's eaten all the food. So there's a large commotion as Grandpa, you approach. Grandpa Zadok.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so you walk towards this container ship. So people all have their weapons drawn at you, Nikali. Would you like to roll for initiative with all these people unloading this thing, or try to diplomacy your way out of everyone attacking you for being on this container?
I'm going to use martial flexibility, and I'm going to change my intimidate to a strength-based roll. And I'm going to cow them, and I rolled a natural 20 anyway, so it doesn't matter.
They're shaking with their weapons drawn. They don't know what to do. Like I said, you weren't supposed to be on this crate. Yeah.
Those puny weapons aren't really going to do much to me now, are they? Now, what planet is this? Speak, puny human.
This is when Zadok walks up.
Addis, I want to say.
You are a very strange-looking human.
Yeah, but you have a very nice fur. I feel like my second wife had a coat like this.
He gives you a very strange look. And it's like, well, at least you speak, so...
I didn't like her very much.
Okay, very strange. Anyway, where's the nearest starship? I need a starship.
I was actually looking for the same thing, so...
You want to, like, just get off this container? You frightened everyone enough that they'll part if you just get off and walk off with Zadok.
I'm just gonna walk off with him, because I'm like, at least he's also looking for a starship, and I'm not, like, completely 100% sure he's not human, and if he's not human, that'd be, like, plus in my book, comparatively to the rest of the people around.
He looks different enough now that you don't think he's a human.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna count that as a plus.
You guys wander off towards the ships together.
I got my sunglasses on.
Can I roll an appraise on his fur? I just want to know if it's the same fur that my second wife had on her jacket. I got a natural 20.
Very similar. You're not sure it's the same creature, but very similar fur, for sure. The spots and everything.
Lovely.
It looks very fine. But you can get a pretty penny for it. If there were someone out space hunting pelts, it's a very large pelt.
Lovely. I just want to say you have lovely fur.
You are very strange. But what are you, such a strange-looking alien, doing on this planet? This conglomerate king.
I was on a cruise ship. I mean, I've had a long life. Was trying to send it off right on this cruise trip. They sent me down to this planet. I'm trying to get back into space off this god-awful desert. You're down. I mean...
Fine with you for now, as long as you are not one of the conglomerate kings.
They took my money.
Fuck up.
So you guys wander off towards these ships. There's a very large collection of ships here. Maybe some workers from the ships that are over there mingling, space-worn, rough and tumble types, more heavily armed. Their ships are pretty heavily armed. There's a lot of raiding ships, small, heavily armed, fast-moving ships. Some more utilitarian, like trade ships, cargo ships. Some smaller transport vehicles. A couple of scout ships.
Never really caught his name, so I'm going to be like, strange humanoid thing.
Call me Zadok or Doc or Grandpa, whatever you're into.
Alright, Zadok. My name is Nikali, warrior of the Zatlon. Anyway,
he sounds like all intimidating.
So I'm really like, let's shake down these fools for information on a starship.
You have me at fools.
Do you want to look for any particular type of fools, or just the first fools you see?
That'd pretty much be Nikali's approach. He's not really known for intelligence.
He's gonna walk up to the first group you could see. Alright, like I said, it's a rougher looking group. So they're like cleaning their weapons and such, sitting outside their ship. You're approaching, so you should probably start the conversation.
Like, hey, what's up, guys? Going to space? Diplo, I got a 13.
No.
I got neither are we.
We got a raid. Don't you guys know about the raid?
What raid?
There's an abandoned warehouse in the northern hemisphere. Everyone's here for the raid.
They have weapons there?
No one knows. We're gonna find out, though.
Do they have spaceships there?
Who knows? No one knows what's there. That's kind of the point. We're gonna raid there and find out. Rumors is it's been abandoned, but whatever's left there is valuable. Everybody wants a piece. We're gonna try and get it before Conglomerate can react. Obviously, Addis is not one of their most prized possessions.
Should we join them? Says off to his side. He bends down very low next to Gramps' ear and goes, should we join them?
If that's over the conglomerate and there's some gloms in the mix, I'm down.
Yeah, I am too. Hey, we join you.
Oh man, our crew's full up. We picked some new guys this morning. We would love to have got a big guy like you earlier, but we've already paid him. I can't take back those gloms now. Don't do that. That would just be out the gloms. You know, conglomerate terms. Once I've signed a contract with the Lena Durd, with the red shirts, you know, once I sign a contract with them, that's it. I can't get my money back. So our crew's already full of cheap red shirts from the Lena Durd.
Undergirded crew. You guys seem like a bunch of turds anyway.
As you guys are wandering through the crowd, roll a perception check.
18. 11.
You guys spot something strange, a K-9000 unit, known universe over. You don't see them wandering around alone like this unless they're about to bounty hunt or assassinate someone. That might interest you for that purpose alone, but isn't walking your direction. So that's always a good feeling when the K-9000 is not coming towards you. It's wandering around in your area. If you'd like to follow it or check it out, see where it's going.
If we're going on a raid, we could make our own team.
If nothing else, if it's a bounty hunting droid dog and it's bounty hunting, say, a ship captain or a crew member on a ship, maybe you can take their place. Might be like an angle.
It's a dog, though.
Surely you've heard of the K-9000 units. Maybe you've never seen one before. They're like any other android, just dog-shaped.
Talk to it. Flip a coin.
Why not?
All right.
We want to approach the dangerous robot?
Let's walk towards it.
Yeah, let's cut it off. Let's do a little one of these, like
Triangulate your positions?
I think it would be funny if Graham actually does that, and Akali just goes straight towards the dog, not doing any strategy.
And I was like, what the fuck? We did it.
You guys come from two different directions now all of a sudden?
So we're gonna do that.
But somehow you still converge your paths, blocking the path of this K-9000 unit, who is very purposefully looking for a ship. So now standing in front of you is a big blue hairy jaguar man and an old fish man.
Yeah, it's a cat. But no, it's fine. I'm a highly sophisticated robot.
Oh, but you want to chase it somewhere deep down inside.
Dog, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. I'm busy here. Clearly looking for something. What do you want? You weirdos.
That's not very polite. Anyway, we are looking for a partner in a raid.
As it turns out, I am looking for something very specific, and it is not that. I need a ship.
Yeah, don't we all?
We need a ship.
But I need a specific ship. I'm just looking for some tasty gloms.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're after, too.
I get the glom.
Yeah.
But you guys can maybe get some glory. Or like a ship or a ride. I don't know. You want to help me out? We could take a little ride. Go on an adventure?
Get off this fucking planet.
We could go off the fucking planet.
More the merrier. So now you have 2 extra sets of eyes to help you look for this mysterious ship.
I don't even know what the ship looks like.
I forgot. I got distracted by the large cat. The ship. It is known as the Emerald Star. It's big. Haven't seen it. Told about it. I'm assuming it's green.
So you know information about it. You can describe the make and model.
Yeah, no.
I got a 22 for knowledge engineering.
It is a Class 2 Dulon Ranger wing ship. Dulons don't name their ships, so whoever named it the Emerald Star stole it. There's no Dulon would name a ship. They don't believe ships deserve names. Ranger wing ship, that's the only name it needs. Don't give it a special name because then you treasure it too much and you're afraid to lose it. And a Dulon must never be afraid to lose his ship. That's how the Dulon got so rich, by taking large risks.
In the back of Akali's mind, it's like there's like 5 to 1 chance he just steals the ship.
Well, then you'll have probably a bounty hunter after you too, because Dulons are
right.
notorious for employing K-9000 bounty hunter units.
Right.
So you have a description of the ship now. You guys are, like I said, if nothing else, Grandpa can describe to you what it kind of looks like. The one thing that makes it stand out, besides the green color, inside it has a star generator. That's what powers it. You can't see that unless you're inside. But on its side, it has 2 Budzigan bashers. They're not wings per se, and they're not arms per se. They don't really work as either. They're more like weapons that the ship can use to smash other ships around it, and they also have guns on that fire. Very tough ship. So you would notice it by the 2 arms on the side that it bashes things with in the green color. So you guys know what you're looking for now. Roll me perception checks.
Unnatural 20.
23.
So I need Kess Blix and Dr. Paracelsius to roll perception checks as you guys have arrived on Addis and the Emerald Star on another one of your captain's crazy missions to get some gloms or some crazy scheme. But you guys are going to hire some new Lena Darg, some red shirts for the ship.
22 perception.
So Kess Blix, shorter guy, keeping his eyes on other things, thinking about other things. But Dr. Paracelsius, always attentive to what's going on around. We'll pick out especially the big blue guy, the big blue jaguar, strange man, and the K-9000 unit would probably be the thing that gets your attention most of all. Even though the big blue guy is pretty startling, because he's so large. You've seen Stranger Things on your planet even. Big giant jaguar man's not that crazy. But the K-9000 worries you, because with your knowledge, local or knowledge history, Dr. Paracelsus.
I like history. It seems like something that maybe I've encountered in the past, perhaps. That is going to be a 21.
So yes, K-9000s are something you've encountered in the past, personally. K-9000 units are usually sent to hunt people down that have committed crimes. They're bounty hunters for the Dulon, and you know that the ship that you guys are currently on is a Dulon ship, and you know that your captain sometimes steals things. As you guys are like walking away from the Emerald Star to go get some red shirts to fill up your crew, because you guys lost some crew members on your last crazy escapade, you're seeing this K-9000 and these other folks head towards the Emerald Star.
I will alert Kess, and I will say, it looks like trouble incoming to the ship.
I just pat in a indistinguishable place on my garb, and I just nod.
Kess Blix is sort of a turtle-like, small humanoid, dressed in samurai-like garb, carrying a sword on his side, wizened-looking. Dr. Paracelsus is wearing S&M gear over green garb, and he's carrying lots of weird vials of stuff, and he's got a weird goggle and face mask on, plugged into a filter on his back. Unlike a lot of people that need a filter to filter out dirty air, this planet's got pretty polluted air, but probably not polluted enough for Dr. Paracelsus, because the planet he comes from is super polluted air. And so his pack actually, he puts a mixture in it that creates pollution, because it makes it easier for him to breathe. If he breathes clean air, it actually makes him cough. So he has trouble breathing in clean air. So he has to breathe this polluted stuff to get around. An odd pair, if nothing else, but they've spotted some possible enemies.
I say we stop where we're walking to, and we gain a confident advantage by standing our ground and letting them approach us. That way, possible discourse can be taken, or very deadly action on our part. Let them approach us.
They walk towards you. There's just two guys just standing there, next to a bunch of ships and a bunch of other crews.
Hey, don't be a pussy. Let's approach them.
All right, you can walk their direction, block their path. Triangulate yourselves. You guys will intercept them. Once again, two strangers blocking your path as you're checking for ships.
Hey, fellas, can you get the fuck out of my way? I'm here for something.
Sense motive, I suppose. Me, however.
The android's not bluffing. This android seems pretty serious. Android's definitely looking for something.
I'm a member of this ship. You must go through me.
I'm very confused.
Guy, we got a problem here. If you're involved with this here Emerald Star.
You guys going to space anytime soon?
Are you going to space?
I open my mouth and mouth gun points at them.
I would look at Kess and, I don't know, try to pick up on what he's feeling right now. Because this isn't good.
I look back at the doctor, and then I look back at them. I say, no harm meant upon you, but can easily be inflicted.
Intimidate?
Well, I got a 17.
From my previous statement saying that I am a member of this crew, I would go ahead and say that we're in town trying to get provisions and new crew members for a aid.
I pull in my mouth gun, turn back into regular droid dog. This ship has been stolen, as I'm sure you are aware, and if you're not, well, it's been stolen. Now you know. That's a thing. I'm just trying to get it back. Maybe we can work out a deal. Getting provisions and a crew? Maybe we can take a little detour, but I need to get you and your ship back, or else I'm going to have to kill you all, but I don't want to do that just now.
What's the whole point? You want gloms? Is that what you want?
I want the gloms.
Let's do
I need the
a
gloms.
raid and get the gloms, and then you don't have to worry about killing anyone.
I'm getting paid quite a bit of money to at least get the ship. And if we're being honest here, get a lot more money for you fellas. How many of you guys are there on that there ship?
Another look over at Kess and see how he would think we should respond. But I'm ready to give him a nod. He would just respond that she should talk to the captain, maybe.
I will also add, most of the time, taking a Sapian life is unnecessary. He's firmly under the belief that we don't own anything. We need crew, and I would rather not mow anyone down that doesn't need to be mowing down. How about I give you 100 long right out of my own pocket, because this means nothing to me, and you talk to our captain, and we'll see if we can get the crew that we need for our ship.
Ooh, Scooby snacks.
Wait a minute, blue thing.
I think I'd already slowly be edging towards the ship. Like,
Yeah, they seem cool with it, yeah. All they wanted was a ship, so it seems like your whole crew's ready.
They're doing the raid. I want to be part of it.
Because they have a thing in their hands. You guys can just swap credits right here, right now. Boop,
That's
boop. You got 100 gloms.
Alright guys,
High
if
five.
I'm being honest, I was getting pretty hangry. Probably was a little hasty to pull out the gun on you. It's been a few days.
I'm pretty in tune with my surroundings. I felt that, but I didn't feel comfortable implying.
Implying that I'm hangry?
Existence is suffering. We all crave something.
Alright, well, yeah, let me meet that captain, man.
Alright, so you guys want to all head back to the Emerald Star, or do one of you want to go pick up those Lena Darg, and one of you lead them back to the ship? That way you're still doing what your captain, Garen Cater, told you to do.
I guess maybe I'll go into town to do that, unless, Blix, you intended to do so? Do you think you can handle these people?
I think I've formed a relationship with these life forms.
Just keep throwing money at them, problem solved.
Alright, so you guys head off different directions. So Dr. Paracelsus will head into town to the Lena Darg office to get your guys on contract and come back with those as you guys head to the ship. The Emerald Star. Here it is mixed amongst a bunch of other ships. Garen Cater was clever enough to park it behind a bunch of other big ships so it's harder to see. He knows what he's up to. He's smuggled and stolen and been a criminal most of his life. With just a few of his essential crew back on the ship with him, Garen Cater is a human smuggler, a well-known miscreant throughout this sector of the universe at least. His essential crew with him right now on the ship is Kay, a teal and like small humanoid who does a lot of the mechanics and gunning, fixes stuff, breaks stuff. Good friend to Garen. And also one of his other good friends is on board, Grix, GRI6.
That's me.
A human hive mind creature, so an actual human, but it was born on a hive mind planet, so it has implants that makes them one with a whole planet full of beings. The Body C is the planet they're from. But currently on their run back, which is in our universe, so it's sort of like a religious, you leave the planet so that you want to come back kind of a thing. So far, Grix has not wanted to come back. Grix is out looking for love in the universe. Thinks love exists, even though everyone on her planet thinks that's stupid because they're all a hive mind. So they don't believe in love, but Grix is out here playing the space base, giving the crew morale. So Garen likes to keep him around. Also on this ship is, saying your name is hard. It's You say
call
it.
me Alan. My name is Alan Crix.
Crix.
It's hard to translate.
Because Crix is a half human and half cricket, a bug-like race. I'm doing as best I can being non-bug. So she has like some carapace on her body, but then some fleshy human skin, and she has some antenna. And something special about her race is they can commune with the dead. So she has spent her life as a pilot and as a medium communicating with the dead, just kind of escaping life from her own boring planet that's run by the conglomerate. So she's just out looking for a good time. Also a good friend to Garen Cater. You guys are hanging out on the ship when suddenly, through your open loading bay, walking onto your ship is your good friend Kess Blix. Not with him is Dr. Paracelsus, who they had just left to go pick up your red shirts, Lena Darg members, so your new crew to fill up your crew. And in walks with him a very large blue Jaguar man, a K9000 droid dog unit, and a fishy-looking man with black eyes and gray skin. But he seems to be very well dressed and very fine. He seems to have lots of ornate clothes on, like he definitely is wealthy. A wealthy-looking man, although odd-looking. But they've got a K9000 unit with them, which if you roll a knowledge, history, or local, Garen...
Well, I rolled a 2.
Garen's
It's
totally
okay, Captain,
oblivious.
I got you.
He like Dick Van Dyke falls over some sort of ottoman for no reason.
17.
So Garen is not familiar with the K9000s, although he should be. He's dealt with the Dulon quite a few
He's
times.
just drunk.
I'm distracted. I'm prepping.
Yeah,
the ship
and it does
for
look kind of like a robot dog, no big deal. And I guess you personally have never been hunted down by one. Okay, you have seen this before. You've seen these assassins kill your people before. You don't talk about your history a lot. You don't remember a whole lot. But upon seeing this creature, you remember, like, mouth guns and firing. Like, you get, like, flashbulb memories. You don't remember a whole lot. You remember violence. Things are scary. You automatically see this thing and sense danger.
Not a little bit. It's rude. Hello. Hi. I mean, like, I know I was kind of a jerk back there to these guys. We're cool now.
Who are these folk? What happened to the 20 men you out there for?
Fair, dog.
Dr. P is out to grab our red shirts. These cold-minded robotic bastards came walking up here with this large purring creature. I negotiated with them so that I didn't have to slit their throats. They are kind of looking for the same things that we are, need some of the same things that we're looking for. So instead of having to destroy a living creature and some robotic counterparts, I just fulfilled that responsibility onto the captain of the ship.
From the pilot seat, I just let out a hell yeah!
What's the deal with these folk?
There's robot dog guns.
I'll, like, up on there. I'll, like, climb up on, like, the wall, like, some piping.
So you get better
higher
footing?
up there.
Yeah,
Oh,
alright.
that's crazy.
Get very high up. If we're being real here, guys, I just want some blondes.
Yes.
Hey, I need to speak to your captain, or else, yeah, 100%.
You're looking at him.
You. Hello, Captain. Some guy paid me to get this ship back. End of story. I don't want to hurt anybody. I'm
This ship
I
is
don't hurt
mine.
anyone. Yeah, well, I've heard different. Or at least someone really, really wants your ship.
I mean, I've got the paperwork.
Bluff check.
There's gonna be a lot of those.
Sense motive, droid dog. Ostra 96.
14.
-1.
Alright, you believe him. He says he's got papers. You don't make him pull him out. Maybe he did win it. But, like you said, you want to get paid. So you maybe will tell him the price value of the ship to you. What you expect to get paid to stop returning the ship, basically. What would it take you to not bring the ship back?
2,000 globs are cool. If you like your people being alive, and your ship not being stolen, again, I don't really want to do this. I just like snacks. I'm talking probably 8,000 globs at least.
Gloms are a little tight on the ship right now. I don't seem to have that on me.
But could you lead me to some globs?
Well, I mean, as long as you're willing to work on the ship and not continue threatening me and my crew, then maybe we can work a deal.
I apologize. I told you I was hungry. Like I said, I don't really want to hurt y'all. I just want some treats. Where they come from doesn't really matter. So if we can,
You can have an arrangement.
that's be a little bit more beneficial than me just hypothetically taking your ship and killing all of you.
Aaron, I already gave them 100 glomps, being as ravenous, hoping that eventually they prove to be cool. I sense the potential for coolness. I have not grown accustomed to be able to identify it as fast as you.
Kess Blix is one with the coolness.
The coolest people don't tell anybody.
Hey.
I think they want
It's
glom.
quite hot here. What do you mean it being cool?
Not a lot of details yet, but we are currently preparing for a job that, if things go well, probably take care of you financially. Me, you, the rest of the group.
He can give you a forever home. He can feed you every day.
Oh my god.
I don't know if we can trust these guys.
You can trust us because I haven't slit your throat yet.
No, I want to be on your side. Oh, he'll do it too.
He's like Zadok switched sides already. Zadok's pretending like he's always been part of the crew. Zadok's like standing next to the captain. He's like, yeah, these new people, I don't know about them. He's just trying to blend in with the crew.
Shall we tell them the story of the bar?
Emerald
I
Star.
love that story.
Yes.
Some would say I'm on the wrong side of the law, but it depends on the side of the law you're looking at. Long time since I've seen my homeworld since the conglomerate kicked me and my family off of it. We've been homeless and, well, separated since then. Not a huge fan of the conglomerate. Not a huge fan of the hoity-toity upper class. But if you're willing to work, you can find a home on the ship for as long as you please. Just so you all know the way things work around here, we work for shares of the profits. So this job, once we conclude, we will be splitting this thing up. Now we've got some less than skilled hands showing up. They're going to get less than all of you fine people. I can see you probably look like you can handle yourselves. So you'll be getting 2 shares of the bounty each. I, of course, will be taking 3 shares because I'm the captain. Got to keep these things running sharp. And the ship gets 2 shares.
Show them the board, Garrett. He has...
Yeah, he's got a whole Victoria, all the maths worked out here. Here's the figures.
Oh yeah, I pushed some bricks out of the way.
like in a triangle type.
Yeah. It's an upside down pyramid, and Garrett's at the bottom.
Funnels up to the top.
It trickles down like the waterfalls on my
Really well.
slide.
So you guys have now been introduced into Garrett's profit-sharing scheme on his ship. So if you guys are cool with that, you can join the crew. And Dr. Paracelsus will re-arrive. You'll be introduced to Kay, the teal panda, who has taken a couple naps since you guys have been there, of course. She has dozed off several times. You'll have met Kess Blix already, of course. You'll know Grix now, who's been hanging out in the periphery.
Yeah, just like in the background, kind of in the shadows.
Yeah, you have those implants too, so usually your neural network always connects you to the planet, establish a weak connection with other minds around you. So you're feeling a lot of things right now, all these new people.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
it's a
feel
lot. Maybe
everyone.
you have a secret crush on one of them already, and who knows, one of them might be kind of cute. It could be anything. So you're there, you're just kind of like lurking in the background, like wallflowering it, you're like just noodling on the base so everyone talks. So Alan's hanging out too, feeling the vibes.
Alan wants to look around to see if there's any snacks lying out, because I would like these people to not tell us as soon as they get on our ship.
I mean, if there's food on the ship, they're more than welcome to some.
Do you guys have any rations? I don't think any of you
What's up,
do.
y'all?
I think you guys are pretty low on rations at this point.
We ain't got no food?
Yeah, you guys just landed. You guys came back from a rough mission. You lost a bunch of red shirts. You're low on food. Pretty low on fuel. Luckily, you have a lot of ammo still in this ship because it's a pretty new ship. But you don't have a lot of other supplies. That's why you're here to get other supplies and stuff. Someone can go into town and buy supplies if you have enough gloms, but I don't know if you guys have enough gloms to buy supplies right now.
Kind of have a tough situation.
Yeah, otherwise, Dr. Paracelsus will return with your 20 Lena Darg, your red shirts. Now you have a very full crew. Luckily, this is a pretty big ship. Several gunner seats, a pilot seat. Other than that, it's got lots of science equipment. It's got sleeping quarters. It's got a bar that Dr. Paracelsus often works at in his free time for spare Skrilla. He makes a mean drink. I mean, the Dulon don't play around. They like their ships. They spend a lot of time on their ships. So it's a nice ship on the inside. It's luxurious. It's decked out. Not as well as a Star Cruise ship, like you're not like on a luxury vacation. This is obviously the ship of a wealthy Dulon. Like I said, there's a raid going on this planet. They're about to raid this big warehouse. There's some people have rumors it's just a big concert. The conglomerates on planet sort of knows about it, so there are like some OPP ships sort of hovering about to like calm things down. Some people say, oh, no one's really going to do anything. They're going to go out there. It's going to be too harsh. No one's really sure what's going to happen. At the prescribed time, everyone on the Emerald Star and everyone on all the other raid ships nearby, and all the people on foot and all the people in the dune buggy-like vehicles and ATV-like vehicles all start storming one direction through the desert, heading towards the northern hemisphere as fast as they can before the conglomerate can do anything about it. It's a long travel. It's a long travel, but luckily Addis is not a conglomerately heavily policed world. It's not one of their biggest assets. No one's even really sure why they took Addis. There's no mining resources here. They built these big cities here that have factories that do some work. They do have some ship upgrades that originated here that they do really well here. Cruise-style fixtures, because they do a lot of cruise ship work here. Luxury furnishings, things like that. They build a lot of terraforming tech here, sort of the Conglomos style, so it creates a lot of pollution, but they can actually create worlds with it as well. And also Kesho converters, so a lot of the early technology that turned Kesho crystals into energy that ships could use was developed and sold here. So a lot of ships come here for that kind of stuff. So you guys are heading through the desert. Like, for a long time, Conglomerate doesn't care. Like, it's just the desert, and you guys are just a bunch of large group of people going through the desert, harmless. Until you guys have broken Conglomerate law, they're sort of monitoring the situation. So they're like flying behind your ships, very small number of them. The number of ships here, the raid ships, otherwise outnumber them by far. So their OPP presence isn't as heavy as it would be in a lot of other worlds. So you guys are flying through the desert, slowing down to let the people on foot catch up. Some ships have like slowed down and let some like gather up on their wings and stuff like that. You guys can also, if you like, have let people like grab on, like speed it up a little bit. Some people like let people surround the side of their dune buggies, etc. So anything to speed up the process. Everyone seems to be decked out. There's a whole lot of red shirts mixed among the crowd. So a lot of people have like bought mercenaries for this raid apparently as well. Towards the northern hemisphere. It's a pretty large planet, so it takes a while. You guys finally reach the stormy part of the planet where the red sands are whipping up. That's how you know you're in the northern hemisphere. It gets a little bit cooler, but it's still very hot, and the winds whip up a whole lot more, so it's harder to see. Roll perception checks as your ships fly towards the factory.
20.
I got 29.
I got a 1 9. I got 22.
Everyone that beat 20, especially Garen Cater, the captain of your ship, will spot through the view screen or through your windshield some pylons up ahead. You guys have finally reached the area, the perimeter surrounding the facility. You guys know, so it's been a while, there's been nothing. Like, all the cities are in the southern hemisphere. There are like 16 Etesian cities, very huge. You can see them. You can see the ruins. The northern hemisphere is abandoned. There's no ruins there. No one ever built anything there because there's too many storms. For some reason, there's this big factory out there, and you can now see the lights of the factory flashing and large white pylons sticking out of the desert. Still people coming behind you, so you guys are ahead of all the dune buggies, and the dune buggies and stuff like that are all ahead of all the people on foot. So you guys are sort of reaching the pylons first in your ships.
Can I do a knowledge engineering on the pylons?
You may.
I'll roll that.
I will also do a knowledge engineering, because as a robot dog, I think I'm smarter.
Yeah, you know some stuff.
16.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I got a 23.
Ooh.
Oh, I only got a 10.
Definitely.
Sounds like your droid dog knows the most about pylons. You know, you've got to go over them or under them, because going through them can be very painful, either to your electronics, the humans' bodies. You can fly over them in this ship, you know that, but if they're not taking out, anyone on land trying to go through them will probably suffer some damage trying to cross through that field if they're humanoid, and not made of some sort of metal, or if they're not conglomerate property.
Yeah, Captain, sir, I recommend just go straight over that guy. I've seen guys not feel too great after trying to go through it. If we're trying to get these gloms, let's go right over. Let's do it.
Alan, take us over the pylons.
I look up at Garen's head, just past his mid-thigh where I would about land at my height, and I say, "They are approaching cool."
Alright, roll me that fly check, Alan.
I got a 19.
Alright, yeah, you fly real good. Right over that thing. Roof. You guys lift up a little bit.
I pull it back real hard so everyone has to deal with the gravity shift a little bit.
Alright, everyone roll a reflex save.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got an 11.
I got an 8. I got a 17.
Alright, if you got below 15, you're gonna fall down, or you weren't buckled in or something. You're just gonna like fall. You're nothing bad. You're just prone for a moment, enough that it's hilarious that you fell down. So a couple of you lose your footing in this ship.
Sorry, y'all. Hold on tight.
Yeah, should get some warning next time.
My character's racial suction hands to just hold on to the counter that I'm touching.
They continue making a drink while this happens. Empties out the last of the ship's liquor cabinet. There was some very fine liquor in here, and after the last adventure, it's almost all gone. But he's got enough left for everyone to take a shot as you guys approach this factory. Because the way the ship's traveling, you're at it now. I mean, you can pretty much crash into it or land. So he's got everyone a shot ready. Not the red shirts, though. Everyone except red shirts gets a shot. Everyone in the red shirts, they have to man the guns and they start piloting, so everyone can leave their positions. Alan can get up from the pilot seat. You got a red shirt there for a minute. Red shirts take the guns. Everyone that's in the essential crew, even the K9000 using who doesn't really need a shot, will still join everyone at the bar. And you'll all have a cheers together. Dr. Paracelsus, why don't you do the cheers since you made the drink?
To all my sisters and misters and all the people that will miss them, here's to us and here's to them, and fuck the rest. And as we cheers, I'm going to slip a little bit of a strength mutagen in local Cat Furry Face's shot.
I'll say I don't usually reduce my senses, but also fun is important.
And they're very small shots. There's very little left, so don't worry. You're not getting drunk off of this.
For me, it's an extra.
You're a very tiny guy. Yeah. Maybe poured you a smaller one so they can have more. Don't worry.
Not drinking.
Macaulay does not drink. He comes there for the shot, but just leaves it there. He's not familiar with this custom. They don't drink on this planet.
Well, I guess I assume I take that shot.
All right, so now you take a strength mutagen. Glug, glug, glug. Right away, Dr. Paracelsus is affected by his own magic. Gets a little bulkier in his suit as you guys come barreling towards the facility. Roll for initiative as your red shirts panic.
17.
18.
9.
21.
I got
21.
29.
12.
I got a 12.
Alright, so luckily I only rolled a 10, so it sounds like only 2 of you got worse than a 10. So everyone else will have time. If you want to, you'll hear the alarm blaring from the pylons. You'll hear the popping explosion of humans trying to go through it on their dune buggies as their dune buggies and their bodies explode. And other ships approaching. You hear shots starting to be fired. So as you're finishing your shots, everyone that rolled higher than 10 now has a chance to run to man some other position of the ship or do whatever you like.
There are 7 guns. There is one, there are 2 on the starboard side, 2 on the port side, 2 on the bow of the ship, and 1 on the stern front.
You can help me manage the engines.
Someone's got to pilot the ship because there's no AI on a Dulon
Hey.
ship. So yeah, you got to pilot.
On it.
So yeah, and you rolled the highest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just want to run over and push the red guy out of your seat and get back to piloting?
I toss all them out. I'm
Yeah.
off that
Go ahead and pop in
liquor.
and roll a fly check to start doing cool maneuvers around lasers and stuff.
Okay.
Let's see how good you're flying around the shots being fired
I
right
would
now.
also like to ask our captain what our target is, because I also did just join, so I don't really know what's going on. Oh god, my day.
It's true.
It's 8:30.
You have just, well, I think Alan means just join the crew because a lot of people are like Garen's best friends, but I don't think anyone on the crew's known Garen for more than a year or two. Even his best friends on the crew have not known him that long.
FYI, I'm flying at a 26 right now.
Oh, that's a good fly. Alan, the cricks, is killing it on the wheel, dodging lasers.
Can I perception roll while I'm dodging and rolling?
Yeah, of course. See
I
what
don't
you're flying
know what
towards.
else to really do as
Yeah.
pilot, you know?
You gotta
Looking
perceive
out
things.
the front window.
That's part of your job.
Unnatural. Not natural.
29 natural. It's a big conglomerate warehouse. Nondescript, but it's got lots of gun turrets. You see now that there's like warehouse doors opening up and like legions of killbots are coming out. Gargoylians are coming out the side to start attack. So it's a hive of activity right now, but it's a very big facility. You can't see inside of it yet. It's like a big block in the middle of the desert. And there's lots of like violent red sand whirling all around it.
Have I woken up yet?
Roll a perception check inside the factory. Argyle Gargyle the Gargoylian. See if you hear the alarm sounding.
I roll 1 15.
That's good enough to hear it. Yeah, the ship can roll one as well. Zhaoshan.
25.
Oh yeah, Zhaoshan, the noise will alert. You've been in standby mode for a while. The noise will alert you something is going on. So if you want to come out of standby mode, you can. And same for you there, Argyle Gargyle. Loud noises. You're on alert. I mean, you were built to guard this place. So automatically your mind, you were trained, you've been brainwashed. You can make your own free decisions, but right now, you either can make a will save, or you can leap into action and defend this building.
I'm going to make a will save.
Alright, make a will save. You are a humanoid. You might not want to do what you've been brainwashed to do. So yeah, roll a will save to see if you can make your own decisions.
7.
You feel like you want to hide. Deep down in your gut, you know you want to hide, but you feel compelled to do your job and defend this stupid place you live that you don't even really like living. There's not even any sand dragons here. But maybe all the racket outside, maybe a sand dragon is attacking. And so maybe you think you go check it out to see what it is at least.
Alright.
There's your motivation. So you get up and head outside, where all the other gargoyles already flying out and stuff from various exits. you can do the same. There's an attack going on. Tons of raid ships. Humans are exploding the distance to the pylon. It's hard to see through all the red sand, but there's lots of noise. Laser beam like light flying through the red sand, then being diffused where you can't see it. But lots of violent action, explosions.
I'm gonna fly up, see what I can see from a higher angle.
All right, roll perception check.
1.
Smack! You get hit by the Emerald Star.
Oh.
Alan, you'll see this thing smash into the front window, so you just hit a gargoylean.
I turn on the
Monstrous
windshield
looking,
wipers.
flying. Right, you try to windshield wipe off this huge metallic humanoid.
Can I pilot the starboard turret?
You can push a red shirt out of the way.
There are 2 different types of guns on the starboard side.
Can I hop into the one using a knowledge engineering check? The one that might be best.
2 guns that are here, I'll go ahead and let you know. You've been on the ship long enough. One of them, like I said, is one of those bashers. It's not actually a gun. It's a short range, a close range weapon where you just swing one of the wings of the ship at stuff. So there's that, and there's an X-beam, a conglomerate X-beam. That's the actual laser.
Alright, well I got a 25 on engineering just to figure out which turret I want to go to. How about that?
Yeah, that would tell you that if you want to shoot a laser, use the X-beam, the conglomerate X-beam, and if you want to smash thing, use the Buggas and Basher.
Laser time!
Get on the conglomerate X-beam.
Yep, starboard.
Alright, it's loaded up. It's hooked into the ship's mainframe. You guys have 99 charges. You lose 1 charge every time you fire this weapon there, Dr. Paracelsus.
My move and my swift, could I also fire in this round?
You have time to fire in this round if you want to go ahead and fire. What are you firing at?
Pylons behind us.
Alright, so you spin that gun around. It's got enough degrees to do that. As long as you yell at the red shirt that's on the Buggas on Basher, because he can swing that at about 90 degrees, and that'll actually help it so you can aim.
I rolled a 6 plus probably 1, which is going to be a hot 7.
I rolled a natural 1 for him too, so he's a red shirt. He's not very good at this job. He definitely whips the wheel for the weapon, the Basher, so swings the opposite direction that you want. So now the laser's pointing a different direction than what you would need it to point backwards. You can still fire forwards towards any of these gargoyles approaching, or the factory, or the warehouse.
Yeah, I guess I'll fire the gargoyle.
Alright, so you point the gun at one of these things in the air. Roll a dexterity, a range attack.
16.
He dodges out of the way, luckily. This huge laser beam, it's in the shape of an X, flies by, and the gargoyle just misses it. So you can tell, he probably felt the heat on that laser beam, but it doesn't hit him.
This concludes our transmission. Please tune in next time for more Dungeons to the Stars. This episode of Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater is sponsored by our fans and friends on Patreon. Donate today. Keep Long Distance Dungeons & Dragons Dinner Theater alive.